Well, we've made it. Round 10 of the inaugural Throttle Freaks season comes down to this one last race for all the marbles. We travel back to Italy, again, this time to the Imola circuit. It's in the Emilia Romagna region of Italy. It's actually named after the nearby town. It's also called Enzo and Dino Ferrari track 2 as well, named after Dino and his son. It's 19 corners here to challenge our drivers. So lots of chances for mistakes, overtaking opportunities, and passing here tonight. I am Rob Campbell in the booth, and with me again, Richard Swindells. Rich, we've made it. This is the end. We're finally here to see who's going to get crowned champion of the inaugural series here.
Yeah, it's been an exciting season, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out tonight, Rob. We got some good close battles. We're going to see in both races. Lots of team dynamics going on as well. It's been a great season, and hopefully tonight finishes it off with a big bang.
Yeah, I don't think we could have really asked for much more as far as racing. We've got the fixed series up first as usual, and then we'll head back for another extended 5-minute race in the open series, sprint series, where our drivers will be able to modify their setups of the cars. So this is as far as I remember, this is a no drop race. So if you don't show up for this one, you get a big fat 0 on your points total. So we do have some championship battles here, Rich. We've got a couple championships that are wrapped up heading into this one, but then we've got a couple other ones that are still in play in both the fixed series here tonight, first up, and then the sprint series in a little later on. So when we hop back to the racing action here, we'll see how qualifying shaping out early on this one, and we'll take a look and see who's got themselves placed up top. Is looks like Brett Thurman right now leading around the way for the SRTE cars in that green and black Porsche.
Yeah, Brett's had himself a fabulous season. So far, he's sitting, I think, third in points. He's had two wins, 6 top fives, 3 poles. Brett's certainly had a season to remember, and yeah, I think he's looking for more tonight.
Yeah, he's really poured it on the last couple races towards the back half of the championship here. But here we have our inaugural pro winner in the fixed side of things. Tyler Graff wrapped it up last week with a strong showing. So he's coming into this one just gonna have to hit the green flag to get his name in the record books here, Rich, and he's going to be our inaugural pro driver. So why don't we take a
Well,
look at
well,
the
no,
standings here while we got a moment?
he could get a couple hundred points and penalties, maybe, Rob. But yeah, Tyler's had himself a great season. Tyler's sitting in first overall and pretty much has the series clinched. But David Bush the third, he's fighting back, and he's back up into second place, followed by Brett Thurman, who we just showed earlier. Then we have Jason Park in fourth, right on the tail actually of Brett. So that could be a good battle tonight for third, maybe second, but most likely third. Jared Keene, Jay Steffi, fifth and sixth. They're close. And then we go down the list. We've got Felix Feliz, Andrew Trickett, Patrick Farrell, Colin McKenzie, Seb Gauthier, Herbert Pineda, Dale Peterson, Andrew Venara. And then we've got a bunch of other racers who haven't raced quite as many here.
Yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. Yeah, but as you mentioned, pretty much the only real battle we're looking at is for final step on the podium there between Brett Thurman and Jason Parks. It'll be interesting to see how they shape out there, with Thurman currently sitting up top of the qualifying standings. But let's take a look at our AM side of things, Rich, where we still have the championship up for grabs here, with Waldo Walden leading the way, but he's only 11 points ahead of Kevin Berquist. So still anything can happen there. Taking a quick check here to see if both drivers are in section. I see Waldo and Kevin, and look at that. They're actually 19th and 20th in qualifying right now, so they're going to be starting right next to each other as it stands. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But a little ways back to Jacob Fichtner. He's only 1 point up on Neil Alexander for third spot, so still some battling there as well. Ross Sortino not out of this one either as well in fifth place. Chance for him to move up there, only 10 points back of Jacob Fichtner.
Yeah, it's been nice battling both in the pro and amateur division this season. And we're going to take a look at the team's points. Team's points is not settled at all. We've got, it looks like, I believe, 4 teams that have a possibility of coming out of this with the championship, depending on things unfold tonight. SRT Green leads by 11 points over Lunatic Racing. Just 10 points behind them, we've got BNO Cartamania. and then 8 points behind them is Riot Motorsport. So really, technically, any one of those 4 teams can take this. Then in fifth, we've got SRTE Black, followed closely just 2 points behind by SGE Esports. Crikey Esports is just another 8 points behind. So, close races from first to seventh in there. There's going to be some movement.
Yeah, still plenty of room for things to happen. As I mentioned, we've only got the one championship settled in this one so far, so we still got a bunch of battling here, Rich. That's what you like to see coming into the final round. You like to see some storylines, something to really battle for. As we've got, looks like last check, about 25 drivers on track, so a nice showing here. The drivers coming out to challenge the track here. As we jump on board here with Colin McKenzie, one of the lunatic drivers, as you mentioned, currently in second place in the championship. So I believe the lunatics actually made up of Colin, David Bush the third, who's sitting a little farther back in 14th place. So the two of them be trying to garner some points as they try and challenge the SRTE cars, which one of them sitting up top right now, Brett Thurman, still holding on to pole position.
Yeah, it's really nice to see the progress Brent's made. Jay Steffi's just a 10th back along with Tyler Graff. So, um, Imola's a little tighter track. Is it? Lots of straights, lots of chicanes, as we know. It's going to be a real interesting battle tonight as we watch Brett come around. Looks like he's got time for this lap and one more. This will probably be his last lap. He's leading off going down into the first chicanes, turns 2 and 3. You really want to use a little bit of the curbs, not too much though. It'll unsettle the car. Here the car's going to want to push out hard, and you want to make sure you stay on track. Brett doing a great job there.
Yeah, those turtle curbs can be real vicious at this track. Some cars handled them quite well. Looks like the Porsche with under the hands of Brett Thurman here, not all that upset about hitting the curves. For some of the other cars, like I actually believe if we see some of the Acuras hitting those curbs, it's not going to be all that happy about it. As I'm looking at the top 10, looks like it's predominantly Porsches in the top 10 right now, with a couple Acuras here and there. We don't actually see our first off Porsche or Acura make until 13th place, which is currently David Bush the third. So it's going to be a little bit of a Porsche Acura battle here again, as it's been for most of the season in the fixed side of things. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know these Acura drivers are really going to have to stay off those curbs, as I mentioned. I drove the Acura around here, I want to say a couple weeks back, just in testing, thinking about running a league race, Rich, and it didn't like the curbs at all, as we see Brett Thurman pulling off to the side.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually ran it in a league race, if I'm not mistaken, unless I'm thinking of another car, and I wasn't a big fan. But it's nice to see David Bush the third representing Lamborghini quite proudly, sitting in second overall in the championship in the Pro Division. The only Lambo in the field doing a great job. I won't mention his name, but there's also one guy driving a Corvette tonight. I promised I wouldn't mention his name because I gave him the kiss of death last time, but he always brings his own audience, and we'd like to say hi and thanks for joining us every week. To his wife and father, really glad to have you with us. Let's hope Zach can put on a good show for you tonight.
It looks like Zach, the lone Corvette driver this week. Usually there was one or two other in the fixed side things, but looks like he's the lone one flying the flag for Corvette. Only a couple of Ferraris in here too as well, and a couple McLaren. So it's still fairly dominant on the Porsche and the Acura side of things. But let's take a quick look here, Rich, while qualifying's finishing up at the schedule, and see how we've gotten to this point. We started out at Red Bull Ring, then we headed off to Watkins Glen and into Portugal to Circuit Algarve. Mugello was round 4, and we saw round 5 take us to Road America. Round 6 was Circuit of the Americas. Road Atlanta made up round 7. Round 8 was Le Mans. Last week we were at Sebring, as you mentioned earlier, I think, and then we're going to finish it up here at Imola. So great schedule coming to the ultimate finale here in Imola, as we see a bunch of our drivers calling it quits, pulling into the pits, as the clock has ticked over to 15. So unless they got around before the clock ticked over, they will be done qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting finish to see who ends up where. Neil Alexander's having himself a pretty good season himself. Is he coming around to finish his final lap? Let's see if Neil continues on after exiting the last corner, or if he ducks into the pits.
Oh,
And
see,
that tells us what we need to know there. And meanwhile, Kevin Bergquist, who's sitting second in the championship, he's got his own fan club out there cheering him on. So looks like we've got people on all sides looking forward and cheering on their favorite racers and trying to help them get a title or move up in the standings.
yeah, that's what we like to see, Rich. The more fans you bring, the better. And if you throw our pit road production logos on your car, even better too as well. It all goes well to try and get yourself some quality TV time. But it
Yep,
looks like
we can be bribed.
we can be bribed. We do take logo placement as bribes. As we're just waiting for timing and scoring to finish up here, as all of our drivers have pulled into the pits, and then we'll have a look at the grid for the finale here of the fixed season of Throttle Freaks. So it'll be interesting to see anybody who's been interested in possibly signing up for next season. I believe I saw a quick note. They were going to do sign-ups, I believe, for returning drivers starting tomorrow, but they've pushed it back to, I think, or sorry, today. I think they pushed it back to possibly tomorrow. And then I think it's a week later for new incoming drivers. So if anybody's been out there following along, thinking about how they can get in next season, keep an eye on the Throttle Freaks Discord for announcements coming up shortly. But timing and scoring is clicked over, Rich. Let's take a look at how qualifying shaken out. Anyways, you got the results there.
It's done it all. And when qualifying on pole, once again, we've got Brett Thurman. But followed very closely behind, we've got Felix Feliz, 4 100s. Wow. Then we have Jay Steffi, followed by Tyler Graff, then Seb Gauthier, followed by Andrew Trickett. We've got Jared Keane and Dale Peterson next, and then David Bush III and Colin McKenzie rounding out the top 10.
We got Nathan Doogie is back after a few weeks off. He's going to sit in 11th. Jacob Fichtner in 12th. I just realized I put the results up instead of the grid, but we'll go with it anyways. David Morris is going to start 13th. Herbert Pineda in 14th. Zach Mosley in 15th. Ian Cabana going to start 16th. He'll have Robert Jeffries and Neil Alexander behind him. Waldo Walden and Andrew Venero are going to round out the top 20.
And then rounding out the field tonight, we've got Jordan Spoon, followed by Kevin Bergquist. Then we have Christopher Rhines, who did not set a time, nor did Drew DeWeese or Alex Hillman.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they make their way to the grid or not, Rich. It's always kind of cumbersome whether their driver doesn't put in a time or not, whether they're going to grid up. But I do see Drew DeWeese on the grid, so we will see him on a track. And I don't see Christopher Rhines or Alex Hillman yet, so I suspect they're probably not going to grid up in this one. But I don't think we've seen Alex Hillman all season as far as I can remember, so interesting to see him pop into the session in the last race. But our drivers are on the grid. It looks like we're just waiting for the green flag here, for the green flag for the pace car to pull away. We can start heading towards the green flag. There we go. The pace car, Barney, going to lead them around.
Yeah, Alex Hillman's been here actually a bunch of weeks. He's missed a few, but looks like he's not here tonight. Another short pace lap here at Imola as they're coming around, just exiting turn 10, going up to the 11-12 chicane. That's always an interesting little corner section on this track, Rob.
Yeah, it's not so bad in the GT3 cars, but I think I was out here in the Porsche Cup car a couple weeks back, and it's definitely a set of corners, Rich, where you'd love to have ABS in the car versus no ABS and no traction control. It's a whole other animal, especially this downhill section heading into the brake zone. It's a little dicey, but our drivers tonight in the GT3 machinery have the advantage of having some ABS and traction control, so I don't suspect we'll see much other than some real dive bombs if they're trying to make a move. But speaking of dive bombs, we got Brett Thurman out front. He's leading the way. Felix Feliz to his outside, all Porsche front row. And we've got the Acura of Jay Steffi in behind, the first non-Porsche. He's got Tyler Graff, our Pro Championship nominee. Here he's just going to make it official with the green flag, and then he can essentially just pull it off track if he wanted and call it himself a day. But I think he's going to race to the end as a true champion would.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to sit this one out. Everybody wants one more win. What better way to finish the season than with a win? And wow, we're going to have some exciting racing tonight because the championship's pretty much all decided. But off we go. Brett Thurman getting a big jump, big jump. And as we watch all the cars come through, going too wide, coming around through turn number 3. Looks like we're going to have a exiting the chicane here. Looks like Brett's got this firmly in hand. Oh, a little bit of bake spin here. Off
Steffi.
we go, and we've got Steffi and Graf, I think.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
massive wreck. It's just
Oh no.
on and on and on. And even though he didn't mention his name, it's like Zach Mosley still got caught up in it there. We still got cars wrecking back here going off track. What is going on? It's just carnage out here early on, Rich. We'll see if we can get a replay of that queued up here in short order. But right now, that's allowed Brett Thurman and Felix Feliz to really get a strong jump on the field.
Yeah, that was not the way you want to finish a season, but I think at this point people just are going for as much as they can because they know the championship hopes are here or never, and look what happened. My goodness. But we're coming up to conclude lap one. Brett Thurman still leading over Felix Feliz. Third place at Tyler Graf, followed by Seb Gauthier, Andrew Trickett, Dale Peterson, rounding up your top six.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened. Looks like it all kicked off with Jay Steffi. I'm not sure if he got a little help or if he just lost it on his own. He's in the Acura and looks like possibly too wide with Tyler Graf. Maybe a little rub there, but then you see the cars just trying to go every which way to avoid him. Couple SRTE cars tied up there. Looks like one of the McLarens, it might have been Neil Alexander getting wrapped up there, and it all kind of went off from there, Rich. It's definitely not the start of the finale we were expecting to see.
No, I think people tried to push a little harder when a little more braking might have been the better course of action. But we're going to go back to live racing. David Morse sitting in 11th right now. We're following along with David in the SRTE green car. David trying to make a charge on Herbert Pineda. Both drivers up several positions because of the incidents earlier, looking to make a charge and move up into the top 10.
Yeah, definitely beneficiaries of some wrecks earlier on. The biggest beneficiary of all that was Drew DeWeese. He started at the back, Rich, and now he's here, as Drake would say. He's got himself up into 16th, up 8 spots, so maybe not qualifying was the best play here for Drew. He was able to avoid all that carnage, just kind of coast through and get himself up into just outside the top 15. But let's take a quick look here at our AM Championship contenders. Kevin Berquist came into this one 11 points back of Walden. Berquist started behind Walden, but due to all that carnage, he's got himself up into 15th place. Walden currently in 17th with a whole bunch of damage on the front of that Porsche. So it'll be interesting to see how this championship plays out with currently one car in between the two of them. Actually make that looks like 2 cars. Oh, sorry, that was a lap car. Kind of knifed in between them, but some heavy damage on the front of Waldo's car.
Yeah, it's certainly going to hurt his championship hopes. I'm not sure how many positions they have to be separated for Kevin to take that, but we'll try and do some math a little later on and figure that out. Meanwhile, Kevin Berquist continuing to make his charge up 8 positions, sitting in 14th overall, and having a great start to this race, taking advantage of the misfortune of others.
Yeah, it looks like our, I don't want to say biggest loser right now, but Seb Gauthier down 10 spots where he qualified. Although it looks like he got through that situation fairly unscathed as far as damage. I don't really see a whole lot of damage on that black and green SRTE Porsche, but definitely fell down. He was definitely involved in that early incident but looks like he was one of the drivers that got through with just losing time. We'll have to maybe see if we can see what happened to him. But a guy I want to see what happened to him is we only caught him at the very end was Zach Mosley. Let's see if we can see what happened to him early on, because he was towards the back end of this one. Oh, he just came up and the track was just blocked when he got there. There was unfortunately nowhere for him to go at that point in time. So unfortunate for Zach. Wasn't quite sure if he's going to make this race or not.
Because,
but
that was a hard head-on hit there, Rob, and safety first. So we hope Zach's okay after that.
Yeah, we sent the AMR medical team out to see him. So,
yeah, that was a nasty hit. But Brett Thurman, meanwhile, has opened up a 1.5 second gap over second place Felix Feliz. Brett looking to finish this race off and this season off in style. Really, really impressive driving from Brett the last several weeks, except for last week when he had a little bit of bad luck. But looks like he's right back where he was now.
Yeah, strong showing for him. Qualified up top. He's shown us why he qualified up top, Rich. He definitely has the pace here tonight. at Imola. So Brett Thurman in the Bad Santa car, as you asked him a few weeks back, why the Bad Santa, and he politely informed us that if you go watch the movie Bad Santa, you'll find out exactly why. But he's rocking the
And you
moniker
don't
and
remember,
out
do you?
front. No, I do. It's the kid's name was Thurman in the movie. See, I remember, Rich. I
Okay.
don't forget all this stuff. But we got
Oh
a
yeah,
little
I'm an
battle
old
here
guy.
for
Never mind.
we got a battle here, fourth place between Andrew Trickett and Dale Peterson. Trickett up 2 spots, Peterson up 3 spots. It's battle for fourth place. Looks like Colin McKenzie trying to sneak into that one too as well. The blue and yellow Acura being chased by the blue and silver Acura of McKenzie. So those are our top 2 non-Porsche cars in the top 10.
Yeah, Dale Peterson showed us some good pace last race out, as he was expected to do from his teammates, and looks like he's got some good pace again tonight. Let's hope for a little better results for him. Dale Peterson all over the pack of Andrew Trickett. These guys are having a nice close battle, and right behind them, Colin McKenzie. We've got a nice little 3-car train as they battle through the final chicane, I believe, or one of the final chicane on this lap, going into turns 14, 15 to exit out onto the main straightaway.
Yeah, a few more corners to go to finish up their lap number 4. We're already almost 7 minutes into this one, so time clicking away quickly, Rich, but it probably helps that we had all that carnage early on to start this one to make the clock seem like it's going even quicker than it actually is. But this is our closest battle right now on track, so we'll stick with this one for now. I'm keeping an eye on the AM battle here on my timing and scoring between Bergquist and Walden. Still 2 cars in between Bergquist and Walden. I think it's going to work out pretty close. I think once you... late send by Colin McKenzie there. Almost gets on the back of Peterson. But as I was saying, I think once you get further back down the points total, I think it's only about 2 or 3 points that are doled out for each position. So Bergquist needs to make up at least 11 points to get ahead of Walden. So he's going to need to try and place another couple cars in between he and Walden to try and take away that top spot from Walden in the championship. As I mentioned, that it's like Walden's just gotten around Drew DeWeese and Neil Alexander. He's now directly 1 spot behind Kevin Bergquist.
Yeah, I'm guessing that damage to Waldo's car isn't quite as bad as it looks, and hurting the performance as much as we were expecting. So Waldo doing a great job of continuing on after that initial contact, still up 3 positions overall, and fighting hard to retain his championship. Waldo making a hard charge now. He's moving up, and getting up nice and tight behind Kevin Bergquist. Kevin Bergquist doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's got Seb Gauthier just ahead of him, so coming into the nice little technical right-hander uphill, then another sweeping right-hander. You want to catch some of that curb, sweep out all the way out onto the turf. Waldo making a good hard charge, really wanting to solidify his championship on Kevin Bergquist, getting right up behind as they come into the final chicane.
Yeah, they still got plenty of time to battle. Seb Gauthier goes out wide there. I suspect that should be a slowdown, I would think, going out that wide. But so far, it doesn't look like he's pulling off the race line. He's pulling a Richard Swindell, serving your slowdown on the race line, which in most leagues will net you a penalty, as Rich found out earlier on this season in another league. But looks like Gauthier back on track, so he must not have had a slowdown in that one, still leading this pack around. This is where our AM championship battle is headed out right now. Bergquist currently ahead of Walden, but not far enough ahead to take over top spot in the championship. This would net him still a P2, but still plenty of time for things to happen into this one, as we've seen, judging by lap 1. Anything can happen anywhere as Gauthier goes wide again into turn 3. That's going to allow Bergquist to get back ahead of him. That's going to put a car now between Walden and Bergquist. We'll see if Gauthier is able to slot back ahead of Walden or not. Looks like he is. Looks like I thought Neil Alexander was going to try and make a move around Walden too as well. So we got the 2 McLarens now, or sorry, that's Acura. Similar paint, made them look both like the McLarens, but a couple teammates, the Parabola Midnight cars, trying to chase down Walden up ahead and get themselves interjected into the AM Championship battle here.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong, but I'm wondering if Seb Gauthier's got a little bit of damage that's causing him some speed issues, because it looked like he moved kind of well out of the way for Kevin Bergquist to get by. Maybe I'm just reading things wrong and he just missed the corner a little bit. But meanwhile, the nice little battle going on. 1, 2, 3. We got 5 cars here A couple of the championship leaders, along with David Morse, who's also having himself a fine season. So this is going to shake out to be a pretty interesting finish if this continues on this way. We've still got our pit stops, though, Rob, and pit stops always can throw a wrinkle into things.
Pit stops. Who needs pit stops, Rich? That's just a wrench in the whole thing. Oh,
Whoa.
here we see Alexander making a move on the inside of Walden. Walden trying to hold on to that spot. He desperately doesn't want to lose any more position, so he's going to try and fight for that as long as he can. But Alexander has his teammate Drew DeWeese in behind. We'll see if they work together to try and push Alexander up ahead of Walden. You see Neil Alexander moving over, or sorry, Drew DeWeese moving over behind Neil Alexander. A little bump draft down the front straight. Walden might lose 2 positions here as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Waldo's damage isn't causing him much issues in the twisty sections, but once they get onto that straightaway, as we see Waldo fighting back, looking to get that position back from Drew DeWeese, nothing doing right now, but Waldo seems to be doing okay once we're in this section, but when they get onto that long straightaway, it looked like those guys just had a little bit more. Might be some of that exit speed that helped, but it could be some damage too.
Yeah, that aero damage on the front of that Porsche is going to act like a big blade on the front of that car, just kind of pushing back against it. Although he's looking to the inside of DeWeese here, see if he can make the move. Trying to get late onto the brakes. He's going to take that spot away. DeWeese gave up the ghost on that one. Didn't really battle it all too hard. Didn't want to force a mistake and possibly take out both of them, but that's going to move Walden back up into 17th place. Still 4 spots back of Kevin Berquist. So really in the danger zone here now. This could be exactly what Berquist needs if they could try and chase down Robert Jeffries up ahead, who is almost 4 seconds up ahead. So they really need to put their head down and push forward if they want any chance at catching him. That's pretty much where Waldo needs to be. He stays in this position, Rich. I think he should have it wrapped up, but go back up to this battle up ahead that we were looking at earlier between Peterson and McKenzie, as Andrew Trickett's been able to open up a bit of a gap over Peterson in 5th place, but Jared Keane sneaking in on the back side of this one now. That black and green SRTE car lurking in the background, and McKenzie's teammate David Bush III not too far back of that either.
Yeah, David Bush III generally hopes to be starting a little closer than he was to the front, but David Bush III always finishes strong no matter what track we're on. He always seems to have late race pace. Dale Peterson sitting 5th right now. Dale having himself a nice run. Colin McKenzie, Jared Keane, and David Bush III in this grouping.
Yeah, still plenty of time for drivers to make moves though, but as we go back a little farther, Seb Gauthier, so he's gathered himself back up, trying to put some pressure now on Kevin Berquist up ahead. So I'm wondering if maybe Gauthier kind of overheated his tires a little bit there, Rich, when he went off and sliding around a little bit. Had to kind of back out for a half a lap or so, let the tires cool back down, and then he's going to try and mount a charge on Berquist again.
Yeah, it could be. And looking at his picture on the driver profile pic, maybe he just had that one eye closed and just didn't miss that apex, Rob. I'm not really sure, but yeah, he definitely looks like he's got his pace back again, and he's charging hard and not willing to give up any more positions. Pick it back up. Felix Feliz is now 2 full seconds behind Brett Thurman. Tyler Graff III, that's David Bush III, but we're talking about Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff is closing that gap down. He's only 6/10 behind and looking for 2nd place and looking to apply a little more pressure on Felix Feliz.
Yeah, we saw Tyler Graff possibly get contact a little bit with Jay Steffi early on, so maybe a possible penalty coming, but I think he's got more than enough leadway in the championship that even a 20 or 30 point penalty should be fine for him. But currently sitting in 3rd place. I think
he needs a few penalties to lose it now at this stage.
He almost needed a whole team of drivers to go out there and start swerving around in front of him and try and force a mistake, but he should be able to, barring any major catastrophe, bring this one home and be the official champion at the end of this one. But as we go back to this battle here between Gauthier and Berquist, so we see Neil Alexander's caught up in the back of it, and it looks like Walden has fallen quite a ways back of this battle now. That aero damage with nobody directly in front of him, Rich, for him to draft off it through the high-speed sections, really starting to rear its ugly head here now for Walden.
Yeah, the more this race continues, the bigger that gap gets. If Kevin Berquist can continue to have a clean run, Kevin may just have a chance at stealing this championship on the last week due to the unfortunate circumstances of lap one here.
Yeah. We see Kevin's teammate here, Ian Kamana, in a battle with Robert Jeffries. Jeffries in the purple and gold chrome colored Porsche, the B&O Cardomania car behind. And Jeffries, one of the team drivers for B&O that's involved in the championship battle. Rich, one of the 4 teams you noted off the top, still potentially has a chance for a good showing here to take away that team championship side of things. So Robert Jeffries will be trying to push forward as best he can, as I believe his teammate is Andrew Trickett. Trickett currently sitting up in 4th place, so nice showing right now by the B&O cars. Unfortunately for them, though, one of the teams they're chasing is Lunatic, and Colin McKenzie and David Bush would have an overall finishing result a little bit higher than right now over Trickett and who was that? Jeffries right now in 12th and 4th, McKenzie and Bush in 6th and 8th.
Yeah, that's it's going to be some complex math and might be a little beyond our ability. So hopefully the league admins can keep us up to date on what's going on in points wise as far as that goes, because I've only got 2 hands and 2 feet, and that's just not quite enough for these numbers. David Bush is the 3rd, sitting in 8th now. David Bush looks like he's got his mojo going, and he's got the car firmly under control and looking to make some advances. Coming up, we've got a nice little battle here. Colin McKenzie charging hard. Colin McKenzie around Jared Keane. Then we've got Dale Peterson and David Bush III. These guys battling hard as we're coming up to the final sector here.
Yeah, it looked like there was a mistake by Peterson heading out of the chicane there. Kind of bottled the car a little bit. That allowed McKenzie and Keane both to get by. Now he's feeling a bunch of pressure from David Bush III. So we'll see if Peterson's able to hold off the charge of Bush III. There you see multiple our drivers using up all the runoffs again. David Bush III going to come in early. It looks like he'll be our first taker for scheduled pit stops here, Rich. So interesting move. We're just about at the halfway mark here. Just before the halfway mark. This will be the halfway mark as they head across this lap. So we'll see where he comes back out. Normally he's one of the drivers kind of pushes it that little extra lap for fuel savings. So interesting move here this week.
Yeah, I think it's a good decision and a good move on his part. A little different than what we normally see, as you said. And he had 3 or 4 cars ahead of him. He had nowhere to go, and looked like he finally was getting some pace going in that Lamborghini. Now he's going to have himself some nice clear track drive through, and that may be the difference in getting by these guys. Colin McKenzie continuing to lead. Jared Keane, Dale Peterson, after that little bobble, is following behind and trying to gain back that time.
Yeah, let's see if we can see exactly what happened to Peterson there that allowed McKenzie to get by. There was Peterson went a little wide, had to gather it up. That's all McKenzie and Keane needed to make the move around there. Unfortunately, when you're battling that close with a couple other cars, one simple mistake like that can cost you a couple positions. But we'll see if Peterson's able to work his way back. Still up 1 spot from where he qualified. So overall, not a bad day if it ends up this way for Peterson.
They're not bad at all. These guys are good drivers, all of them pros up here, and you don't have to open the door that wide for them to take advantage of it. Neil Alexander, meanwhile, sitting in, looks like 4th place in the amateurs and doing a great job. I would expect to see some good close battling here. Neil's having a really good season and looking to make some advances, but he's got a nice hard charging Kevin Berquist up ahead of him. Walden 3.5 seconds behind, so no real pressure. Just a matter of, can he make some moves? Can he catch our 2nd place championship leader here, Kevin Berquist?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like Seb Gauthier bailed out of this battle and came into the pits early, as it looks like Kevin Berquist is going to come in here too as well. He's going to go for the undercut, I guess. So we'll see if he's just trying to relieve some pressure that he was feeling from Neil Alexander. Decided to duck into the pits, kind of try and find some clear air, clear track out there when he comes back out to put in some quick lap times. But we got a battle for 2nd place shaping up a little more up front. It's Tyler Graff now down to 3/10 behind Felix Feliz. Brett Thurman's literally ran away from these guys 2.5, almost 3 seconds up the track. So the more they battle, that's going to allow Thurman to get ahead even more. But looks like the Porsche reigning supreme right here so far in this race, Rich, with the 4 of our top 5 being Porsche drivers.
Yeah, Porsches are certainly the cream of the crop thus far. We will see how it all shakes out by the end. It's really Brett's to lose, and it's where everybody else is battling from scraps if everything keeps going the way it is. Meanwhile, while this is going on, our amateur leader was the first person into the pits. David Morse took an early pit stop back out there. I don't know what happened with him, but I thought he was leading in the AMs, but looks like he's back on track. And yeah, he's back ahead of the rest of the amateur drivers once all the pit cycles go through. David Morse having himself a great race thus far.
Yeah, I'm having a look at time and scoring. Looks like he is our top AM driver that has pit already. So quickly, his pit stop time, 42.78. Looks like it's fairly on par with everybody else's pit so far. David Bush the third at 40.6. So interesting to see how that works out, whether Bush is on the quick side of things or if David Morse was on the slow side of things. But 2 seconds to play there. We got a few more drivers in the pits, namely our leader, Brett Thurman, has come in for his service. So we'll have to keep an eye on what his pit time was as he's exiting the cones there now. And I can tell you that Brett Thurman was at 40.67, so a little bit slower of a stop for David Morse, as our couple of pro drivers who've been right now in around the 40.6s. Looks like 40.68, 41.4 for a couple other drivers. So Morse maybe about a second slow, but I suspect he should be able to work his way back up to the top of the AM standings, Rich.
Yeah, I would think so. And he had a several second gap and holding that lead. So better to be safe than sorry. You don't want to be short field when you're leading the race. Meanwhile, with all those pit stops, currently holding the lead position right now is Felix Feliz. But Felix, along with Andrew Trickett, Colin McKenzie, basically everybody in the top five still need to make their one and only field stop.
I suspect we'll see the rest of the cars that haven't pit yet in either this time or the next lap by, with the majority of the field coming in already for the service. You have to think that they're at the end of the field window here. You see, looks like Felix Fleas going to pull it into the pits here too as well. I suspect Trickett and McKenzie will follow suit. There's Trickett, and here comes McKenzie and Keane too as well. So I don't think any of our drivers are going to have enough fuel load to go around for another lap. Herbert Pineda into as well. So we'll pick back up Brett Thurman as he's coming down into the last sector here now. He's got Neil Alexander in behind him. Alexander hasn't pit yet as far as I note here. So he'll be the last, looks like our last car, possibly with wall to wall, to come in and take a service. That shows you how far Brett Thurman was ahead of the majority of the field this one, with him being able to almost lap half the field just over the pit cycle time.
Yeah, Brett's definitely had himself a good one. He was a little battle there with Neil Alexander, but Neil is going to shape out about 40 seconds behind, I think, when all is said and done. As we watch him, we got Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff is really pushing it and getting by Felix Feliz, and everything is turning out roses for him tonight after that little initial bump with, I believe, Jay Steffi, but back up into second place. Looks like that pit cycle worked out well for him.
Yeah, 6/10 quicker through the pit cycle for Tyler Graff. We saw that just before Feliz had come in for his service, he only had about 3/10 ahead of him. So that shows you exactly how Tyler Graff was able to jump ahead of Felix Feliz. So we'll see if Feliz is able to put some pressure on. He qualified ahead of Tyler Graff in second spot, so we know he's got the pace to get up front. Just a matter of whether he can find a way around our soon to be anointed champion here, Tyler Graff. But through the pit cycle, the guy who's really gained is Brett Thurman, our leader. 4.4 seconds now over the rest of the field. Brett has this one firmly in hand, Rich, with just over 10 minutes to go.
Brett Thurman looking for his third victory of the season, and what can we say when you get pole in qualifying and a lead start to finish? That's always a great week. He's hoping to continue that on. We're going to go back to Kevin Bergquist, though. Kevin Bergquist trying for his chance at the season amateur championship. Kevin Bergquist over the back of Robert Jeffries right now. Bergquist is just one position ahead of Waldo Walden. That's not going to get it done, Rob.
No, it's not, Rich. We can see that Walden was able to get a little bit of damage repaired on that car through his pit service. So all he needs to do right now, Rich, he doesn't really need to push all that hard. Staying just one position back of Kevin Berquist will wrap up the championship for him. So he's exactly where he needs to be. No reason to push forward. Just keep Kevin in his sights up ahead, and wall to wall to be able to bring this one home.
Yeah, we're going to go back here. We got up with Dale Peterson, David Bush III. Both drivers kind of stalled out and a couple of seconds behind the Jared Keane ahead and about 7 seconds ahead of Herbert Pineda. So really these two are just battling amongst each other for that one position. Only one of them gets 6 right now. Dale Peterson holding on.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the early pit stop for David Bush III has really worked out the way he was probably hoping. I think he kind of came out mired in a little bit of traffic as these two drivers, Peterson and Bush, were right up with Keane and McKenzie. Now they have about 2.5 seconds ahead of them down the track. As you can see them caught up to the back of Andrew Trickett just ahead, but Peterson and Bush III kind of lagging back a little bit. We'll see if they can work together, try and close back up, but we're getting into the final swan song here of the race, Rich, with under 10 minutes to go. That's probably only going to be about another 3, maybe 4 laps if they're lucky, depending when Thurman crosses the line. So not much time left to make a move towards the front.
Yeah, not much room at all. Andrew Trickett continuing to hold off Colin McKenzie. Jared Keane using all of the runoff and a little bit of the dirt, but keeping it going straight. Andrew Trickett, 4th overall right now. Colin McKenzie up 5 positions in 5th.
Yeah, on board here with Keane. You can see that battle up ahead. That looks like McKenzie has caught up to the tail of Trickett up ahead. So Trickett has a couple of mirrors full of Acura. Keane would love to get up there and battle with them too as well. But right now, he's struggling a little bit since the pit stop. Keane falling back off that battle. So he might be, we mentioned it there. He's going to go off into the Villeneuve chicane. That's going to throw a bunch of debris on track at Peterson and Bush, but that's going to move him even closer to that battle between Dale Peterson and Dave Bush III.
Well, at least they got windshield wipers out there. No rain to speak of, but you're going to want them for clearing off that windscreen after that little excursion. Andrew Trickett, though, getting a lot of pressure right now from Colin McKenzie. Colin McKenzie, you can see him diving in it real deep. That Acura really good on the brakes and trying to close up hard on the Porsche.
Yeah, McKenzie trying to utilize the specialty of the Acura and the brakes. But the Porsche is good in the twisty section, so it's a little bit of ebbs and flows here where the Acura can get really deep into the corners, but the Porsche with that rear motor, a lot of weight over the rear axle, you can get into the throttle really quick versus some of the other cars, Rich, and really get a hole shot out of that corner, and that's what we saw. McKenzie was able to close that gap on a trick into the braking. The Trickett able to get back into the throttle a little quicker than McKenzie could, and able to hold that gap as they're going to head across the line to finish up lap 17 with just under 7 minutes to go, Rich. So time running out for McKenzie to make a move. David Bush III still trying to chase down Dale Peterson up ahead. Let's take a look back at our AM Championship battle. Kevin Berquist still leading wall to wall in the way, unable to find a way around Robert Jeffries. Now, we had mentioned before the pit stop cycles that Jeffries was about 3 seconds ahead of Berquist. So Berquist be able to close that gap through the pit cycles. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to find a way around Jeffries. He'd love to take that position and then hope something else happens to gain a couple more spots. But as it stands right now, we set it wall to wall and doing exactly what he needs to bring home the championship.
Yeah, and Kevin Berquist is running out of time. They've only got 4 laps left. We're, I believe, just starting at lap 17, and it looks like they're going to go to, we're halfway through 17. Looks like they're going to go about 21 laps if my calculations are correct, Rob. So really, it's going to take a little bit of luck at this stage for Kevin Berquist to come out of this race with the championship. But Dale Peterson still has David Bush III all over the back of him. They're doing a great job, though, and trying to close down that gap to Jared Keane ahead. Looks like they're making a little bit of progress. Got to keep doing that because there's only a few laps left here, and if they want to make some advances.
Yeah, the clock's starting to be the enemy now, Rich, at this point in time. But you know who it's not the enemy of? Brett Thurman. He's still happy out front, although he's lost about a second over his over his lead of Tyler Graff. I suspect that's just a matter of Brett not pushing it as hard as he needs to, realizing that he has a little bit of a buffer there, can kind of reel it back a little bit, trying to make sure that he brings the car home in one piece rather than about 15 or 16 pieces.
Yeah, manage the gap. There's no need to extend it at this stage. As long as you keep clean and run consistent, there's nothing really Tyler Graff can do here.
No, exactly. And really, what does Tyler Graff have to push for? All he has to do, as mentioned, not to kill half the field as far as gaining penalty points, and he's got the championship wrapped up. Although you'd probably love to put a bow on it with a win, Rich, but a second place ain't too bad either.
No, not at all. And we still now it looks like they've really closed up on Jared Keane here. Jared Keane, that gap behind him is, it looks like about 6/10, 7/10. Jared Keane, Dale Peterson, David Bush III just trying to make advances, but he really needs Dale Peterson to get going. Meanwhile, Andrew Trickett having a great battle continuing on with Colin McKenzie. Colin, whoa, a little bit wide, and Trickett has to get off it. Colin McKenzie have to dive to the right to avoid him. Going side by side. Look at these guys, a little touch and go, and yes, there we go. That little mistake by Trickett allows McKenzie to get fourth place.
Yeah, I thought everything was going to go wrong there for a minute, Rich, when we saw Trickett bobble, and McKenzie had to really take evasive maneuvers, almost lost the back end of that Acura too as well, but was able to gather it up. But unfortunately for Trickett, McKenzie was able to gather it up a little quicker than he was in the Porsche, and that's going to drop Andrew Trickett down one spot to a final step in the top 5. But that's also allowed Keane, Peterson, and Bush to close that gap back up too as well while they were battling. So we'll see if Keane can lead that pack here around to try and chase down Andrew Trickett up ahead. Trickett's going to need to make that Porsche as wide as he can to hold them off in behind.
Yeah, less than 3 laps to go. So, Colin McKenzie doing a great job of avoidance and gaining a position all at once, and surprised both of us, I think, a little bit there with the quick agility. Meanwhile, Kevin Berquist getting a little frustrated, really needs to get by Robert Jeffries and is pushing real hard, but Robert Jeffries wants none of it. And wow, these guys have been battling for many laps. That's letting Walden just sit there and just be happy. But meanwhile, we got Berquist going around the outside. Really, that's a long way around here, but he's got to try something at this stage. Not going to be able to do it, but can he do the over-under to get the switchback done? But no, but that's letting Walden get right back into this. Waldo's just letting Kevin know that, hey, this is not your championship, this is mine. Walden now right up in the back. Kevin Berquist, who continues to follow behind Robert Jeffries.
Yeah, Kevin Berquist doesn't really have much choice, though, Rich. He's really going to try and get ahead of Robert Jeffries up ahead, and then hope to maybe something happens between Walden and Jeffries possibly gaining some penalty points. But you definitely don't want to win the championship based off somebody's penalty points. But that's really what it comes down to at this point in time now. That's what Kevin Berquist needs, unfortunately, because having Walden right behind him isn't going to be enough to leapfrog him for the top spot on the championship, as we're now less than 2 minutes to go in this one. Let's see where our leader is. Brett Thurman across the line there now. This possibly could be the last lap. Let's take a quick look at the flag stand. Barney not waving the white flag, so we got 2 to go. This one and one more, and Brett Thurman will wrap up the finale of the Throttle Freaks Fix series. But Tyler Graff pushing hard in behind, still closing that gap, but he's going to run out of time, I think, to chase down Thurman, barring any major mistake by Thurman.
Yeah, the leaders have definitely separated out a bit. Brett Thurman doing a great job of managing that gap. Tyler Graff has pulled a good lead on Felix Feliz at this stage, and Colin McKenzie still about a second and a half behind him. So a little bit of gap in the top 4, top 5. Really not a whole lot of battling going on. It's just a matter of these guys trying to round out the race, running clean, consistent laps, and not make any mistakes.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I was just taking a look at the pit stop times for Felix Feliz. He had one of the longer pit stops, but it looks like last lap there he dropped about 0.8 from what his normal average lap time's been. He's actually falling into the clutches of McKenzie and Trickett. They're chasing him down quickly. So I wonder if he picked up some damage somewhere, Rich. I'm not seeing anything flagged in timing and scoring here, but he's losing a ton of pace here. He might actually lose the final step on the podium to McKenzie if he keeps up this way.
Yeah, with all the chicanes and the dirt and the runoffs here, I'm wondering if he just had a little little excursion on one of the corners, got his tires dirty, and he's trying to clean them off. But I guess we will find out as the race progresses and finishes up. Felix Feliz continuing to hold off. He's got Colin McKenzie now getting pretty close, Rob. Colin McKenzie's only 8 tenths behind now at this stage. Andrew Trickett 6 tenths behind them. So wow, well, I guess I had the math a little wrong there, but a little bit interesting racing going on. Is we are on a lap 21, and I believe this may be the final lap here,
Yeah, it looks
Rob.
like looks like Barney's on strike again. Wasn't waving the white flag, but we're past 35-minute marks. This is the last lap, so I suspect timing and scoring is going to be correct, and Barney is wrong again. We got to fire that guy for next season.
Well, they were right on the border of being able to go 21 or 22 laps, and it looks like they slowed it down just enough to get to the 22 laps. David Bush III continuing to battle hard, trying to get by Dale Peterson. Dale Peterson having none of it. These guys have been nose to tail for most of this race, and nobody able to make any moves at this stage.
Thought I heard Thurman's car sputtering there for a second heading up the hill. Let's go on board here and have a listen. No, maybe it was just the iRacing sound, but it sounded like when he came out of that chicane, it sounded like the car was spitting and sputtering a little bit. But
It's just a little bit of a misfire going on. He's raced that car hard today, Rob, between the practice, qualifying, and now this race. So engine might be ready for a refresh after this season, I think, especially the season Brett Thurman has had as we watch Brett Thurman coming around. Final race of the season. Brett Thurman looking for his third win of the season, doing a great job coming around to take victory in the final week of season 1. Throttle Freaks Fixed Series.
yeah, Barney doesn't even want to throw the checkered flag, so McKenzie not able to close that gap fully on Feliz at the end. He's going to hold on to fourth spot. Let's check back in with our AM drivers. Looks like Kevin Berquist. Something happened on the last lap there. Walden was able to get around him. Unfortunately, let's take a quick look here. What happened to Berquist? He was pushing hard, trying to get that spot around Jeffries. Oh, just loses the back end, tags the wall. Unfortunately, that's all it took. Here goes his teammate Ian Cabana around by him. So Kevin tried. He pushed in the end to try and get that spot away from Walden, but it's like Waldo.
He had nothing to lose.
Yeah, looks like Waldo actually waited for him. Oh, he's running out of fuel.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, this could be a wrench in the AM championship here.
Oh no!
Looks like fortunately
for people on the lead lap.
Looks like fortunately for Walden, Herbert Pineda has run out of fuel too as well.
Oh, and Kevin Berquist really needed Herbert Pineda to cross the start-finish line. He's not going to.
Seb Gauthier is our last car on the lead lap. We'll see if hopefully he's got enough fuel to get around to the line here. This could get interesting. Oh, hey. Seb Gauthier going to take the slow down by just blowing the chicane there. Walden, he's not going to make the finish line.
I believe Seb actually went into the pits twice, if I'm not mistaken. So, wow. We've got some drama here, Rob, to finish the season.
Seb Gauthier.
Is this some team tactics?
Now, are they
team tactics to help?
Are they going to push Walden? Walden towed. He towed. So they're going to pass him.
So they can't push him, and that may let Kevin Berquist take the season championship, Rob. I mean, that may be the difference, this push. I don't know. I haven't done the math. I'm just guessing.
I can't imagine losing the championship like this, Rich. Be interesting to see how they rule it. Whether running out of fuel on the last lap and then getting cars pushed ahead of you to take away the championship spot. I don't think they're going to make it either. Oh, looks like Seb still has a little more fuel to push Pineda across the line. We'll have to see how the stewards rule on this. This will be interesting to see how it plays out. They're going to cross the line. That's going to move them both ahead of Walden.
Wow. I don't know what to say, Rob. I mean, that was great sportsmanship on the part of Seb and Herbert, but if that costs Walden the season championship, oh my goodness gracious. I haven't done the math. I can't do the math. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when the points get posted maybe later tonight for tomorrow. But let's take a look at the results here, Rich, and see how everybody's shaped up. Brett Thurman brings it home in top spot. He nice showing second half of the season for Brett. Going to bring home a strong finish in the championship too as well. Tyler Graff is going to officially anoint himself champion in the pro side of things. Comes home in second place. Felix Feliz is going to finish it up in third. Colin McKenzie was held off by Feliz for fourth. Andrew Trickett rounds out the top five. Cherry Keane in sixth. Dale Peterson strong showing in seventh. David Bush the third in eighth. Andrew Venaro in ninth. And David Morris going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, David Morse getting the victory in the amateur division, and followed in 11th in their second place amateur, Neil Alexander, followed in 12th by Robert Jeffries. Then we have Kevin Berquist, followed by Ian Cabana. Herbert Pineda getting pushed over the line by Seb Gauthier, but Waldo Walden not having enough field to make it all the way to the end, a lap down in 17th. Then we have Drew DeWeese in 18th, followed by our used car parking lot, Jay Steffi and Nathan Doogie, Jacob Fickner, Zach Mosley, Jordan Spoon, all having that involved in that big incident on lap one and not being able to complete it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was carnage to be seen for sure, Rich. But looks like we got a number of drivers in the booth here. Why don't we bring in our race winner, Brett Thurman, and see what he has to say with Rich.
Hey, good evening,
Brett,
guys. What a night.
Wow. Brett, your third victory of the season. I think that should, just a fabulous race night for you. I mean, you had a great week last week, but you had, you were driving well. You had great pace, but tonight you pulled it all together again for 3 out of the last 4, I believe. Nice job.
Yeah, thanks, gentlemen. It was I was surprised, and I only found the 42s today, and so I was relieved. Finally cured some of the problems I was having.
Well, I mean, Bad Santa did a great job again. 3 wins. I think you've got 7 top 5s or something. Yeah, 7 top 5s, 4 poles. Congratulations on the great season. Are you going to be back next season?
Yeah, God willing, and the creek doesn't rise, I'm going to be back. So, and I'm really happy for my teammate Dave, who finally brought one home. So, what a night!
That was
What a night!
that was good to see. We're always pleased when we see people able to, as you say, bring it home. SRTE Green had a great season, and you guys represented yourselves well. I'll let you give a shout out if you'd like here, Brett, and congratulations once again.
Well, the number one shout out is to my wife. She lets me do this silly stuff, and love her to death. And thank you, baby. Anyway, see you guys next season. Thanks for what you do.
Thanks a lot, Brett. Congratulations.
So that was our race winner, Brett Thurman. Well done to Brett, finishing off the season strong. Let's bring in our AM winner for this evening, David Morse. David, congrats. Nice job out there. How did your race go from your side of things?
To be honest with you, I did not want to know that I was in the lead in AM. I was really focused on making sure I was in the top 10 because Brett and Jared and I were all trying to get the team championship. So I didn't even know till the end.
Well done. Sometimes it's better just to turn all the overlays off and just drive out there. Look like Imola kind of jived with you here this week. Is it a track that normally you feel strong at, or is it one that you really had to work at this week to find the pace?
I'd say it's in the middle of the road, but I did spend a lot of time with the team. And I'm the slowest guy on SRT, so to finally get a win is really cool.
Yeah, the first one always feels the best. But it's good to see you back again next week, David, or next season, David.
Yes, sir. I'll be registering tomorrow. And I really want to thank the guys on the team. It makes it all worth it.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck next season, David. Congrats on the first win, and all the best for you heading forward.
Hey, thank you guys for the great broadcast, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. We appreciate that. Have a good one. It was David Morris, a winner of our AM. So we'll bring in our championship winner now officially in the pro side, Tyler Graff. Rich, why don't you find out what's going on with Coronation Pop this week?
Congratulations on the season, Tyler. It looks like you solidified your points championship victory. Good hard battling, a little bit of close contact, and you were third for a while, but you fought back and you got yourself second. How'd your race go?
Yeah, I mean, the start was a bummer. You don't ever want to make contact with anybody. I certainly wasn't the goal. But I don't know. I thought I was on his door, and I thought he knew I was there. So I mean, it was just one of those miscommunications where you're racing hard. I don't know, but regardless, I'm not happy that it happened, and I'm sorry to Jay and to everybody that got caught up in it. But yeah, once we got past that, Brett just got a great start, man. He just shot out there, and once I caught Felix and got him in the pit stop, I was trying to get to Brett, but he had such good race pace tonight. This is a track where I feel like everybody's always chasing Brett, so when he qualified pole, I don't know if any of us were really surprised, but I don't know, it was a great race. Everyone ran really well. It's great to race here, and it's exciting to wrap up a championship. It's I don't know, it's just nice to see the effort come together, and hopefully we can build on it.
I assume we will see you again next season?
Oh yeah, that's the plan.
Well,
The car is still up in the air. It kind of sounds like everything's changing, so we'll
but the driver is not.
The driver, as far as I know, the driver is staying right here. So
Awesome. Well, we're gonna have to let you go, but anybody you'd like to give your final shout out of the season to?
yeah, thank you to Throttle Freaks Racing League. You guys gave us a great platform to come on pretend race cars every Tuesday. It's been an absolute blast. Guys at MadWorks, great teammates, great just great group of friends in general. Thank you to the Lunatic guys. Let me hang out during some of the practices, and Corporation Pop is out June 27th. I think it'll be out when our next season starts. So
There you go. You're gonna have to win one so you can actually get the date right.
absolutely.
That was our pro championship winner, Tyler Graff. We'll quickly bring in Felix Feliz here. Felix, looks like did you have a fuel issue towards the end there? Looked like Colin McKenzie was starting to chase you down, or were you just monitoring your pace to make sure you got to the end on that one?
No, my tires went. So I haven't had much time to practice, so I wasn't sure how my tires were going to behave. So I kept sliding and kept losing time. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to keep it clean, and just keep it facing the correct way. So yeah, it was just tires.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, Imola can be a little hard on tires, especially going up and over those curbs. But you said you didn't have much time to practice. Nothing wrong with a P3 on low practice. We're going to see you next season here with the new revamped GT3 tire system, or are you taking time off?
No, you guys will see me. Different car though, definitely a different car. Since we're doing since iRacing is revamping the GT3 class, might as well try something new.
No better time than that. Before we let you go, Felix, anybody you want to shout out here to the end of the season?
Sure, my teammates, Waldo and Buck, and of course my beautiful wife. She allows me to sim race once a week. That's all I ask for, buddy.
The wives are the unsung heroes when it comes to sim racing leagues. So, well congrats, Felix. Strong season, and we'll see you back next season.
All right, take care, guys. Great job. See you next season. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for the fixed side, Rich, but it looks like I do have some confirmation from Nick McLaughlin. Pending any protests, it looks like Waldo Walden's going to take the AM championship by 4 points. So we'll see if any protests come in, but as it stands here, the unofficial AM champion is Waldo Walden. The I guess we can say official champion now is Tyler Graff in the pro side thing. He's going to finish up 79 points ahead of the rest of the field. So well done to all those drivers. Team championship, we're going to have to wait a little bit to find out once everything's all calculated there and protests are tabulated up. But we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with the sprint side of things in a few moments. Okay, Rich, we're back for another round here of the sprint series. It's the finale too, as well, for our sprint side of things. Our drivers on track for qualification right now. We're at the same track, same cars, 5 minutes longer, but our drivers are allowed to tweak the setup. So, what are you expecting to see here, Rich, on the sprint side of things?
Well, I'm not really sure, Rob. I guess we're going to find out, but man, we've got some good close championship battles going on. It's really going to be tonight. It's going to be a deciding race, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some good close battles. Hopefully, a little bit cleaner racing than the start we saw in our fixed series.
Yeah. Yeah, a little fewer drivers here. We got looks like 17 cars on track for this one. I think we had 25 in the fixed side of things, so that'll give our drivers a little more room out there, Rich. So it'll be interesting to see. They should be able to manage to avoid each other, but we just came in at the end of qualifying. We're just waiting for the clock to tick over there. So while we have a moment, why don't we take a look at the aforementioned points championships that we were just talking about? Let's take a look. What do you want to start with? Let's do the pro side here first, as it's still undecided. So in the pro side of things, I have 1 point Fernando Jaquez over Kevin Simpson. Simpson with a strong second half of the season. Right now, looks like I'm seeing time is correct. I don't see Fernando Jaquez in this. Oh, no, he is in the session. Never mind. I just caught him at the last second. So they're both in section, currently separated by only 2 spots on the grid. So this could be an interesting one, Rich. Jim Flees a little farther back, about 30 points back in third place, but only 1 spot up on David Mendonça. So final step on the podium up for grabs as well too in the pro championship side of things. But over on the AM side, Rich, why don't you tell us what we see over there?
Yeah, Matt Stadnik commanding lead and basically has it all sewn up. But we've got Luis Grillon having a great season. He's in second solidly, and then Corey Sircone, he's got himself a 27-point gap over Blake Ziti, with Joey Costello just 4 points back. And then we got Devin Brock, Adam Ostrich, Ivan Bassano, Douglas Curry, Andy Mercedes. The last 3 drivers there, even nice close race for 8th to 10th.
Yeah, it's pretty close from top to bottom all throughout this one, Rich. Oh, looks like Timon doing a little bit of a dance there. But lastly, on the team side of things, fairly close here too as well for top spot. Only 5 points separating the Solpec team in first place over SRTE Orange in second place. So that one's going to be interesting to watch play out, as we got a number of drivers from each team strewn in the top 10. So we should see how that plays out. CRT Chabao, by virtue of some penalty points by their team changing cars halfway through the season, that's kind of dropped them out of the championship. And they could have been a player up there too as well.
Yeah, but I think Fernando Jaquez is going to be quite pleased he made that change, because that's allowed him to sit at the top of the standings right now, and or right up there, and have a good chance at taking that championship. We'll find out very, very soon.
Yeah, we should probably take a look at our grid while we have a moment here. Jim Feliz is going to start on pole. He'll have Fernando Jaquez, as we mentioned, to his outside. Luis Grillon in third, and then our other championship contender in pro side, Kevin Simpson, starting right behind his competitor, Fernando Jaquez. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, Rich, early on. Blake Seedy going to start in 5th, Evan McKay in 6th, Emmett Lindquist in 7th, Matt Stadnik in 8th, Nene Tavares in 9th, Josh Spears going to start 10th, Arnie Mercedes 11th, Devin Brock in 12th. 13th place goes to Douglas Curry. Tony Costello going to start 14th, Adam Ostrich in 15th, Ivan Bassano in 16th, and rounding out the field, Fernando Torres starting in 17th.
Yeah, if I'm Fernando Jaquez, there's no better place to be when you're battling for a championship than having your teammate right behind you, and he's sitting in a good position here. Hopefully those two can work together, and Kevin Simpson looking to throw a little wrench in their plans.
Just noticing here, David Mendonça did not make it for the finale here. So that should give Jim Feliz 3rd place in the championship. So 3rd place looks like it's locked up. Now it's just a matter to see who's going to bring home top spot in the pro side and on the team side, Rich.
Yeah, and we'll find out in 40 minutes or so, Rob, and they're coming around the final corner. The pace car is going to pull off. Barney's going to do nothing, and the racers are going to go when they want.
Yeah, Barney, I'm giving that guy his walking papers for next season. But they're off.
And off we go.
Yeah, look at that guy. Useless. Not even working, but it's like Jim Flea's going to hold on to his pole position. Fernando Hawkes, Luis Grullon going to get themselves quickly sorted into second and third place. Kevin Simpson is going to sit in fourth. So Hawkes is doing what he needed to, get himself up in behind Jim Flea's. His teammate Luis Grullon going to move in behind him. Grullon, strong showing last couple of weeks, Rich. Saw him battling with our drivers up at the end of last week. And again, he's got himself towards the far sharp end of the field here. So well done closing out the season here for Luis Grullon. We'll see if he comes back again next season, possibly in the pro side of things.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have much choice if he comes back with the performance he's put on the last little bit. Doing a great job ever since the team making that move, and definitely on pace. But Jim Feliz rounding out, he's got himself about a 7/10 gap over Fernando Hawkes. Luis Grullon right behind him, Kevin Simpson, Blake Ziti, Evan McKay, Matt Stanek rounding out the top 7.
Yeah, Matt Stanek came into this one with the AM side of things locked up, so all he needed to do was see the green flag and not kill half the field into turn 1, and he successfully done that, Rich. So congrats to Matt Stanek winning the inaugural AM side of things on the Sprint Series. So he's actually also our highest placed Porsches. This is a fairly accurate, dominant field here in the Sprint side versus where a lot more Porsches on the fixed side. So interesting to see the balance here between the fixed and the Sprint side as far as a car choice. But Kevin Simpson right now in 4th place. He's going to want to try and get around Luis Grullon early here, because the more he sits behind Grullon, it's allowing Hawkes and Feliz to open up that gap even further up ahead.
Yeah, it's going to turn into a Monaco if Kevin Simpson doesn't get by Luis Grullon quickly, because Luis is falling back behind Fernando. Looks like Luis Grullon is, he's about 8/10 back now, thereabouts, of his teammate. Jim Feliz, though, is had a little bit of a gap, but Fernando Hawkes is closing that down now. So, wow, these guys are going to start pushing a little harder. Everybody so far, though, Rob, we're on lap 2, coming up about 2/3 the way through this lap, and everybody going through relatively cleanly thus far. Something we like to see here at Throttle Freaks. Great racing to finish the season.
Yeah, there's only even one off track. That's it, flagged in my timing and scoring, Rich. That's how clean the start is on this one. So well done by all of our drivers. Definitely a sharp contrast to how we started out the fixed side of things here, but on board with Tony Costello. Looks like Tony's gone with the white dinner jacket and pantsuit here this evening. No paint on his car on that Acura. Anybody wanting to sponsor that car, it's available, available for sponsorship. Just hit up Tony Costello there, but he's trying to chase down Douglas Corey and Devin Brock up ahead. Feeling some pressure from Artie Mercedes in behind, as Mercedes driving it deep into that corner. Almost kisses the back bumper off Costello's car, but they all managed to get through there and carry on. Adam Ostrich would love to see something happen up ahead to get him up into that positions up ahead.
Yeah, Artie was exhibiting some good pace last week, and looks like he's applying all kinds of pressure. Artie following Tony Costello, Devin Brock in our favorite paint scheme we've agreed on, and the nice nostalgic Castrol colors. Good close battling. Artie Mercedes taking a look at that bright white Acura, wanting to get by him, because the glare from the sun off that bright white is just might be a little bit in his eyes. So looking to get past him and onto the Castrol ahead.
Could that potentially be the thought process behind Costello's all-white car? Just kind of blind them with the sun as you're heading through. But it looks like Simpson starting to put some pressure on the back of Luis Grullon now. Starting to see those top 2 pulling away and realizing that he needs to get around Grullon as quick as he can here to try and have a chance at that championship battle. Right now, Fernando Hawkes got himself exactly where he needs to be to wrap up the championship side of things. He can just kind of fuel save in behind Jim Feliz as they work their way through this lap number 3. Still early on, still plenty of time to have things happen, but right now Feliz and Hawkes looking comfortable out front.
Yeah, and Luis Grullon doing a great job, his teammate holding off the hard charging and you know, really getting a little desperate. Kevin Simpson, he really needs to get by Luis Carrillo. Meanwhile, Jim Feliz continuing to lead Fernando Hakas, but Luis Carrillo and Kevin Simpson, Luis being a little bit of the cork in the bottle. Looking forward to his interview. He doesn't speak English, but Rob has told him he can speak Spanish.
Oh,
so we'll
I
see
did
what
not
happens.
solve that.
Well, I saw a quote there, and I think that's taken for gospel. But Kevin Simpson applying all kinds of pressure to Luis Carrillo, and just not able to get by. Luis positioning that car just beautifully. No blocking that I can see. Just great defensive driving, putting the car where it needs to be. Really not allowing Kevin any chance of getting by right now.
Yeah, I think Luis Carrillo might earn himself a little bit of a bonus here. Driver of the day bonus from Fernando Hakas after this one, if you can manage to keep Kevin Simpson in behind him. Could be a couple cups of coffee heading his way or something here, but Carrillo doing exactly what you would want your teammate to do. Try and hold off your championship competitor in behind you as much as you can. Make that McLaren as wide as he can. The McLarens are looking strong here, surprisingly. It's again another car, as we mentioned in the fixed series, that generally doesn't like going over those curbs, those real low slung European cars. Generally not a fan of heading over the curbs like the Porsches do, but you can see the McLaren and the Acura just kind of eating them up. And maybe the Sprint series with the being able to adjust the suspension package on these cars, Rich, has made them a little more compliant for the bumps here at Imola.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, we've got the 5 of the top 6 cars all driving that Acura, so the results speak for themselves. A little bit of dusting there going on, but no harm, no foul. Matt Stadnik following behind Evan McKay. Wow, we've got looks like we've got 4 amateurs in the top 10, lap 5 on this race. Great showing by the amateurs once again here in the Sprint Series.
Yeah, well, let's see. We only got about 6 pro drivers in the field, though, too, as well. So it's a little easier for the AM drivers to get themselves mixed up in towards the top 10, but well done amongst them. But right now, Douglas Corey trying to hold off the charge at Devin Brock in behind. Brock kind of showed his nose to the inside there, Rich, potentially faking the move. Didn't look like Douglas Corey bought it at all. He's kind of focusing out the windshield, not really bothering with what's going on in behind him, as Tony Costello and Devin Brock really battling it out there for 12th and 13th place.
Yeah, the CRT Jabot team has done a fabulous job this season. Big change for a few of them in their car choices, but they've come back strong after that. Nice to see all these guys doing quite well. Now, it looks like we may have had a little incident with Matt Stadnik there, and it looks like was that him off in the dirt there, I think, Rob?
It is. Fortunate for Matt, he's already wrapped up his championships on the side of things. So let's see if he had any help here, if it was a solo issue. I know the Porsches definitely don't like this corner here. It's off camber going the on right. The pendulum effect just kicked in, brought the back end of that Porsche around. So unfortunate for Matt, but he did what he needed to do. Rich just needed to show up for this one and put in his time for the race. But he's going to get himself to the end of this one. So it looks like I'm going to need to restart timing and scoring here quickly, as it's frozen on me. So we'll quickly pick that up here as we're following around with Static as he recovers off of that earlier spin, Rich. But as we mentioned, not really much here for him to worry about. He's got this one wrapped up.
Yeah, it's not the race he wanted, but it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things for Matt. Matt's had a tremendous season. 2 victories, 8 top 5s, a couple of poles. He's pretty much done it all this season, and his consistency has paid off and allowed him to take that championship to this season. Meanwhile, we're at Imola still racing along in lap 6 of, looks like we're projecting about 24 laps for these guys tonight, Rob. They're all going to have to do one more pit stop, They're all going to have to do a pit stop for fuel at some point. Be interesting to see when the drivers choose. You can get a little stuck going around Imola with different hard to pass areas. So we may see what we saw earlier in the fixed series, where a bunch of drivers came in earlier than they normally would, just looking for some clean air and some open track. set their own pace and get away from the traffic ahead of them. Meanwhile, we continue to have Adam McKay. We're following along with or Evan McKay. Yep, no problem. We continue following along with the drivers. We're on lap 7 right now, following along with Evan McKay. We've got a good little battle here. While we continue to work on our technical difficulties, drivers continue to maintain going nose to tail. Not a whole lot of passing going on at this stage of the race. Everything's kind of remained in a little status quo. Looks like we may have had a little bit of a technical glitch there from one of the drivers kind of disappearing, but everything looks back and clean now once again. Blake Zeedy having a little bit of a battle, but Blake Zeedy losing to Evan McKay, going up the inside, going wide. Blake Zeedy continuing, following around the outside. Evan McKay on the inside. They're going to go 2 by 2 going down the straightaway. Coming up into the sharp left-hander. Whoa, going way outside is Blake Zeedy, and that McKay continues on.
Okay, I think we got it all fixed and back up and running here now. Gremlins, Rich. The Gremlins route.
Well, such as it is. But what are you going to do at this stage? We're going to make it through one way or another. Whoa, getting all over the back. Blake Zeedy applying some tremendous pressure to Emmett Lindquist.
Yeah, Lindquist, one of our Solpec drivers, vying for the championship. So right now we've got Simpson and Lindquist on the Solpec side of things. Trying to earn some points for them, but Hawkes and his teammate Tavares. Hawkes leading this one, but Tavares back in 8th, so it'll be interesting to see how the points are doled out for the team size. Looks like Kevin Simpson's going to be our first one into the pits.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson, I can't say as I blame him. He's got to do something. He's got to get by Luis, and he just wasn't getting it done on track, so let's get some clean air. If he's got the pace, that should allow him to jump him in the pit cycle, because really he has to finish ahead of Fernando Hawkes if he wants to get victory. Fernando up into first place now. We kind of missed that pass, I'm guessing, somewhere along the line there. But meanwhile, that allows, Fernando, if he gets first place and gets his victory, there's nothing at all that can be done to take that away from him.
Yeah, Haka is doing exactly what he needs. You win the race, you win the championship, essentially. And this one, Rich, it's that close on points. So doing what he needs. Simpson, as you mentioned, trying to find an alternate strategy, trying to find some way to get himself up there. And right now, and we still got plenty of time to go, so we'll have to see how the strategy plays out. Maybe he can see himself into clean air on the track, Rich, and no traffic, and put in some hot laps. Maybe that's exactly what he needs. But right now, quickest lap in the race is held by Jim Feliz, 141.53, but the second quickest lap is by Fernando Hawkes, 141.67. Simpson so far has been able to clock in a 142.4, so he's definitely going to have to try and find some pace if he wants to undercut Fernando Hawkes, our current leader.
Yeah, Fernando was definitely had a pretty decent season across two manufacturers. Get back up. We've got Emmett Lindquist following and Nanny Tavares. Nanny Tavares had a great start to the season, but here we go. Emmett Lindquist coming into the pits now, also early, looking to get some a little free track area to race on.
Yeah, be interesting to see how it plays out for him too as well. Kind of interesting strategy. A couple drivers in early on. We haven't really seen that strat play out much in the season in the sprint side of things. Rich, a lot of these drivers are really kind of pushed towards the very end, their fuel low, taking it as deep as they can without really having to try the undercut, where we've seen a little more in the fixed side of things, but generally we've had a little bit of a bigger field on the fixed side too as well. So drivers trying to find some clean air, clean track space more often on the fixed side versus the sprint side. But we got a battle here carrying on as Devin Brock's gotten around Douglas Curry. Last we checked on them, Brock was trying to find a way around Curry. He's found a spot, got that position away. Now Curry trying to take it away with Costello and Artie Mercedes in tow.
Yeah, it's a nice little battle here. It looks like we've got the three cars here going really hard. Douglas Curry following along behind Devin Brock, Tony Costello just behind him. So coming up into this, the worst chicane to me anyways, I always have difficulties here. Big, huge sausage curves, but you got to use some of it if you want to maximize your exit speed. And it looks like all three drivers getting through clean, but wow, Tony Costello making a hard charge, looking inside, looking outside, not able to get the job done at this stage.
Oh, he's going to try and dive it deep into the brakes though, Rich. They're going to go door to door. Costello trying to force Curry out wide. Curry trying to force him back inside. Around the final corner they go. I don't know how either one of them didn't get bumped off track there, Rich. That was well done by the two of them. Sometimes the net code god's just going to take and snatch that away from you, but iRacing net code allowing them to race through that one, where many other times it could have ended in sheer death.
Yeah, sheer death is right, and that's not something you want to finish the season because, wow, 2x2. Oh, big bounce, a little slide. Oh, wow. Those curbs, once you hit them, you go airborne. You can't control the car anymore. So, a little bumping, or as you call it, argy-bargy going on there, Rob.
Yeah, argy-bargy for sure. And I loved how we saw the sparks come out of the bottom of, I believe that was Douglas Curry's car there. Not without shame there, hopping the curbs, sparkling. I imagine he's getting a little bit of undercarriage damage on that thing, but that allowed Artie Mercedes and Adam Osters to move ahead of those two. They got themselves up into 9th and 10th now. Devin Brock with a nice gap over that battle now, almost 2 seconds after the little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump by Douglas Curry and Tony Costello.
Yeah, it was definitely some interesting moments there. Nanny Tavares, though. Nanny Tavares got Blake Ziti and Josh Spears behind them. Blake Ziti's having himself a pretty good season and been a really good sport with us in the commentary booth. Nice to see Blake doing so well, sitting in 6th right now. He's down 1 position on the day, but charging hard, and it really wanted to get that spot back from Nanny.
Yeah, not the start of the season that ZD was hoping for. I wonder if maybe the first couple races didn't go the way they did for Blake. If potentially he could have battled with Matt Stadnick at the top of the AM Championship. Same for Luis Grullon. So it'll be interesting to see if they all come back next season in the AM category again and renew the battle. It'll be interesting to see if they can all get off to a good start next time and see how it went. That's kind of how Stadnick was able to capture the championship, Rich. He had a real strong showing at the beginning of the season. Him and Corey Sircone, they were kind of the 1-2 for the first 3 or 4 sessions of the season here, and they really opened up a gap, and the rest of the Anfield just kind of held on to it for that as the season progressed.
Yeah, Matt Stadnick he's just been a model of consistency all season long. He had one bad race, I think race 2, but other than that, he's been up in the championship, up in the leaderboard every single race. Luis Grullon also having a great season, but his have been more sporadic. He started off a little slower and picked it back up as we went on, but he's sitting in 2nd, and Josh Spears right now sitting 7th, falling along behind Blake Ziti, and Josh having himself a nice start to this race, sitting 3 spaces up from where he started. He started in 10th, now he's in 7th.
Yeah, Josh able to capitalize on some others' mistakes, got himself firmly in the top 10, but let's take a check in on our leaders. Fernando Hawk is still leading the way. He's got that gap almost 1 second over Jim Flees. Flees still holding strong on the back of Hawk as best he can, but they've dropped Luis Grullon a little bit off this one, 3.7, almost 4 seconds back in 3rd place. Another strong showing here by another AM driver, Evan McKay, up 2 spots into 4th place, so nice run by him so far. He's got 2.5 seconds over Nene Tavares, who's towing around Blake Ziti and Josh Spears, although Tavares starting to open up a bit of a gap over Ziti in 6th place.
Yeah, we've only seen Evan out, this is his 4th start of the season, and it looks like this may be his best result if things keep going the way they are, so a great showing from Evan thus far, sitting 4th overall. Fantastic effort for the Canadian.
Yeah, we had a couple of drivers in for their service. Looks like Devin Brock and Douglas Curry going to bring their machinery in for service. Let's check in and see how Kevin Simpson's been doing. He was our first car into pit road. He's currently got himself in 13th. As more drivers come in for service, he'll start making his way back up towards the front. He is still our highest placed driver that's come in for service. He's had the quickest pit stop out of any cars that have come in. So far working out the way Simpson would want, but the real measuring stick will be when Hawkes and Feliz come in to see how that undercut works out.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it might be close, Rob. Whoa, big excursion for Adam Ostrich, using all the track and then some, showing that Porsche Rally heritage, and having himself a little bit of an off-track excursion, but no harm, no foul. Gets it back online, no damage. So it cost him a position, but that was all at this stage. But that said, Matt Stadnik now is closing all over the back of him.
Yeah, Stadnik, another one of our Porsches that had a bit of an incident earlier on, as we saw in that same corner where Ostrich went off. So, mentioned earlier on, the Porsches are they're quick here, Rich. They can take those curbs fairly compliantly, but there's a couple of corners where if you get the pendulum effect starting to kick in with that rear motor over the car, and the back end can just swing around. But I suspect Stadnik generally has a little more pace than Ostrich. He's probably going to make this move into turn 3. I don't think Ostrich will fight him all that much. Oh, we see Stadnik using some of the curbs there too as well. But fortunately for him, it didn't turn out the same way that it did for Douglas Curry early on.
Yeah, he's up on 2 wheels. It almost looked like we're watching MotoGP there for a second, Rob. But no, these are supposed to be on all 4s whenever possible. But Matt Stadnik getting back into things, up to 10th, looking for a nice finish to the season. Maybe just keep it clean, finish the race, and go home with a big championship trophy.
Yeah, no doubt. Hop back on board here with Blake Seedy. He's holding off the charge of Josh Spears in behind. Spears unable to close the last couple tenths on Seedy to try and make a play for 6th place. That's kind of allowing Nene Tavares to open up that gap again on Seedy. So Tavares doing what he needs to do to try and close down closer to his teammate. Haka is up ahead as they're battling the Solpec drivers in the team championship. So speaking of the Solpec drivers, they were the 2 drivers that came in early on for undercuts. So I'm not sure if it's a strategy, Rich, that they talked about potentially before the race started, the 2 of them coming in early on, but they are P13 and 14 on track. That's Kevin Simpson and Emmett Lindquist, both of them with the quickest of the pit stops of our drivers that have come in. So we're still got a ways to go in this one before we really need to see our leaders come in if they're pushing the full fuel load before they come in for their service.
Yeah, it's Imola in the earlier race and in this race has proven to be a difficult to pass track on thus far. So early pit stops it may play out well as long as the drivers continue to run clean, fast laps. That's if they think the person ahead of them was holding them up.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of opportunity here to make a move, as you mentioned, Rich. You really got, I always consider it turn 1, but I guess they call it turn 3. You have that's probably your best opportunity to make a pass, but anywhere else really you have to try and trust that you can outbrake the car beside you and really go for a late braking dive bomb-esque type move to make a pass here. It's just, it doesn't have any real heavy braking sections. It's got like a lot of moderate braking sections, sweeping corners, where it makes it really tough to get a run on a car in front of you to make a dive into the corner ahead. Maybe this corner coming up here, maybe your only real other opportunity to make a move, but it's really tough when you're coming downhill. As we'll see Zedi as he comes downhill trying to chase Tavares up ahead. Let's go on board with him to really get an idea. It's kind of a twist. It's not really a straight, so you're kind of hitting the brakes right here at the 100 marker, and unless you really get a good run, there's not a great opportunity to make a move there. You see many drivers actually get cleared out by a car and behind them being real optimistic on their brake markers and trying to make a move through there. So generally it ends up in tears more than it ends up in cheers.
Yeah, you kind of got to throw it in somewhere where maybe you really shouldn't, and we're not running F1 rules here, so you just can't throw it in and be in the lead of the apex and not have to give the guy on the outside room. So you're really hoping for, getting a better exit than your opponent here, and maybe hoping the guy ahead of you makes a little bit of mistake. It's really difficult to pass, but Jim Feliz doing a good job. He's about 3/4 of a second behind Fernando Hacas at this stage. Fernando looking to close out the season as champion. It's just going to be a matter of, we will find out soon, and maybe in about 16 or 17 minutes or so.
Yeah, Feliz with a quick lap last time by 2 tenths quicker than Fernando Hacas. and that's showing that he was able to take a couple tenths out of that gap between them. But the latter half of this lap, Hawkes has found the pace again, and he's got that gap almost back up to a second again as it was. So a little bit of ebbing and flowing here between P1 and P2, but this is actually currently our closest battle on track right now, as a few more of our drivers have come in for their pit cycle, and it's kind of opened up the battles here, Rich, as some drivers getting on and off pit road a little quicker than the others.
Yeah, if you can't pass on track, the easiest pass to make is sitting in your stall. Let your crew do the work for you. You get the good entry and exit out of pit road. Let get the fueling right. You can pick up a second or two, and that's sometimes all you need or more. And the leader, Fernando Hawkes, coming in for the pits. About 15 minutes remaining, so he's coming in end of lap 16. We're expecting about 24 laps tonight. This should be his one and only stop. Let's see how he does here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here. We pick up Kevin Simpson, who was our early pitter. He's also the second place car in the championship on the pro side. So we'll see how it works out. Looks like he's quite a ways back, where I suspect... oh, what happened to Hawkes? Oh, he's back on track here now. Sorry, I thought he... blinked out of my system here for a second. I was gonna say, did he just have a connection issue? But I lost them in the names. Fernando Torres and Fernando Hawkes are now one by one on the timing and scoring, and it threw me off for a second. I thought Torres was Hawkes. I was gonna say, did he blink out for a second and leave the session? I was gonna say that's gonna throw a real interesting wrench in the championship battle. But we see car Adam Ostrich up ahead, just kicking up some dirt just in front of Hawkes. So he definitely doesn't want to see a car spin out in front of him. But we can firmly say that the undercut for Kevin Simpson did not work, as he's now approximately 6 seconds back of Fernando Hawkes. So it's all but solidified
over 9, Rob.
Yeah, it's going to all but solidify the championship for Fernando Hawkes if he can bring it home at this point in time.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson's 4 seconds behind Luis Grullon, who he was all over the back of before his pits. So yeah, it definitely did not work out the way he intended, and that's unfortunate for Kevin. But Kevin's going to keep charging on and hope for some sort of issues, perhaps, or some manner of getting the championship. But regardless, he's sitting in second and doing a great job as we watch Jim Feliz coming down pit road.
Yeah, Flea's going to come in for his service. We'll see if he's able to get out ahead of Hawkes, going that one extra lap. Hawkes heading into the final corner now and down the front pit straight. It's like Feliz still in his stall. He's exiting his stall now. It's going to be close. Interesting to see who had the better outlap. Hawkes coming down pit lane. There goes Feliz. See him popping out of pit road. Hawkes will have full steam though, heading into turn 3. I suspect he oh, they almost touched.
Oh!
What? I wonder. I'm thinking Feliz was moving to the inside to be defensive there to try and take that position, but wasn't quite sure. Oh, they're gonna rub again.
Whoa!
Oof. We could have saw the end of the championship right there for Fernando Hawkes. It may actually all go to rubble here shortly if they continue battling like this. Kevin Simpson would love to see that in behind, but it looks like they sorted things out right now. But that was an interesting set of corners there, Rich, about a half dozen corners that got real spicy for a moment.
I think that's about as spicy as we've seen it all season long, Rob, and rather surprising to me, to be honest with you. I'm wondering if the first one was just one person picked one way, but the other person was picking the other at the same time, kind of like you do on the highway. And but wow, the way that continued on. But luckily, they both got through cleanly. Jim going a little off track, but doesn't look like any damage in either car. Just a little door-to-door racing, as we say.
No doubt. Let's see if we can have another look here at some of the battling here, as this was just after Feliz came back out, went a little off track here. Try to get it gathered up back on and see if we can find something a little earlier ahead of that. Just trying to see if I could pick up where Jim Feliz came out of pit lane, but it's like for some reason it didn't flag when he left his box. Would be interesting to see if we could catch him just at the end of the timing and scoring line for pit lane to see what happened there.
Well, that's unfortunate, but meanwhile, Fernando Hakas, now he's got himself just over a 1 second gap to Jim Feliz. He's got himself about a 3 second gap to Luis Grullon in third. Evan McKay is sitting in fourth. He's our second place amateur. Kevin Simpson, our second in our championship. He's about 9.5 seconds back of Fernando Hakas at this stage, Rob.
Yeah, it's starting to shape itself out here, Rich. We were getting a pretty good idea of what's going to happen as far as the championship. It looks like I might have Feliz leaving pit lane here, so let's see if we can pick up and see what happened here as he was exiting pit lane. He's coming there. He's got to stay on the right of the white line until he gets to the end. So there it is. He crosses over. Yeah, it looks like Hawkes was hoping that he had enough for a run there. He's going to be able to dive up the inside, but a little argy-bargy through there, a little Rubbins racing.
That was good, close, hard racing there, and I don't see any harm or foul there, but that was the one that kind of got me there. It looked like a little nudge to the right, and
yeah,
but unfortunately that set Jim a little off balance. Yeah.
Wonder if that was maybe just a little bit of, sometimes the net code kind of like glues the two cars together. It almost looked like they were kind of stuck together there for a minute.
Yeah, that's true, and I didn't hear anything on comms, and didn't hear anybody sounding too upset. So you quite possibly could be right there. iRacing gets it right most of the time, but not always. So we're gonna go past that now, though, and pick up Blake Ziti. Blake Ziti having a nice close battle with Nanny Tavares right now. Blake just behind Nanny. Both drivers having a decent race this far. Blake in 7th, Nanny in 6th right now. Nanny up 3 positions on the day. Blake making a hard charge, looking to get around, but it's just really tough to get by here. Getting real close was Blake. Then using all of the curves and then some. He's going to have to wait for another opportunity later on.
Yeah, I thought he was almost going to give a little kiss on the back bumper of Tavares there into turn 3, but thankfully, look like he got it woed up just in time. But we got another battle in just behind them here. Emmett Lindquist is caught up to Josh Spears. That's a battle for 8th and 9th place. So we'll see how this shapes out too as well. We'll kind of focus back and forth between Tavares and Ziti and Lindquist and Brock, as these are our 2 closest battles right now on track.
Yeah, Josh Spears driving that. I think it's a great looking Porsche. I mean, that's kind of my style, I guess, if I have a style at my age. But anyhow, Nanny Tavares having a great battle still going on along with Blake Ziti. Hey, quit your laughing there, Rob. Just because it's true doesn't mean you have to laugh at me. But, Nanny and Blake, 6th and 7th, they're battling hard. We're on lap 19 of 24 expected. So I expect to continue on for the next 4 laps, maybe more.
Yeah, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Looks like a bit of a connection issue there for Evan McKay as he blinked out a couple times. So hopefully that clears itself up for him. He's got a strong showing in 4th place. But looks like Fernando Hawkes, after all that little bit of argy-barginess between he and Feliz, has been able to open up 1.3 seconds over Jim Feliz. His teammate Luis Grullon got himself back into 3rd place as the pit stops cycled through. Kevin Simpson got himself back up to 5th, but he's still a ways back from Evan McKay, just under a second. So we'll see if he's able to chase him down. But Hawk is doing what he needs to take the championship in the pro side. And right now it looks like the SRT drivers in the championship battle being led by Jim Feliz. And I'm trying to remember who the other orange team driver is off the top of my head here. But right now, Feliz could use some help from his SRT teammates to try and take that championship away from the Solpec drivers.
Yeah, that's Jim Feliz and Blake Ziti, I believe, Rob. So Ziti's sitting in 7th right now. So, and they also have Matt Stadnick on the team. So it's going to be interesting to see where the totals lay once this is all said and done.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. As you see, Matt Stadnick here still trying to recover from his earlier off track. Oh, we picked him up. He just touched the grass, lost the back end of that Porsche. So not the championship finale that our AM championship leader envisioned when he started this one out, Rich. But thankfully for him, he's got it all wrapped up. But that I saw it as we came back. I was thinking in my head there, that was a whole lot of grass he just grabbed in that downhill off camber corner. It's not going to work out well. And sure enough, we saw what happens when you get a little over zealous on the grass.
Yeah, it's definitely a not a race to remember for Matt, but certainly a season to remember. He's doing all he needs to do to solidify the championship, and that was basically take the start and not cause too many wrecks, and he's done that and done enough. Evan McKay, though, having a great race, sitting in 4th overall. Evan exhibiting some great pace tonight. A little bit of connection issues here and there, but great pace nonetheless. Kevin Simpson is sitting in 5th, not able to make a charge, not able to advance. It looks like Kevin's season is going to finish where he is right now.
Yeah, you can't really shake a stick at second place at all, Rich. Another driver that kind of wonder if he would have had a stronger first half of the season compared to his second half of the season. Maybe he would have solidly won the championship, as Kevin had a couple races to start that I guess his first race was good, and then the last couple he had, the next two were kind of got involved in a couple incidents, not the way he wanted it to go. So we'll see how Kevin shows next season, as I believe he's already told us he'll be back. So expect to see him back again. But we got a battle shaping up again between Devin Brock and Tony Costello. That's for final step in the top 10 here, Rich. Brock holding on to it. Costello would love to take it away with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, we've got nice little showing here tonight from these drivers. Tony Costello going all snow camouflage white, making a charge, trying to get by Devin Brock. Drivers up 3 positions and 2 positions respectively. Douglas Curry, Artie Mercedes behind them. 4 cars are relatively close on track at this stage with just a couple of laps remaining.
Yeah, I think we might have to anoint Tony Costello the Siberian Tiger paint scheme on that one. He's trying to be incognito, but it looks like Lindquist has gotten around Josh Spears to move himself up into 8th place. Blake Zeedy 3 seconds up the track. I don't think he'll have time to catch him. As you mentioned, Zeedy, one of the SRT Orange drivers, Lindquist, one of the Solpec drivers. So right now, the SRTE drivers got themselves ahead of the 2 Solpec drivers as far as the championship points go. So that's exactly what they need to do. It's going to be a tight one. Once it all comes down, it gets totaled up, Rich.
Yeah, the admins are going to have a little bit of a job on their hand adding up the points and seeing where all this shakes out. It's a little too much advanced math for us lowly broadcasters and producers. We're just good at calling the races and showing the action on the track. And the action continues with Tony Costello, Devin Brock. Just a couple of laps left here. Really, Tony's got to really hope for a mistake for Devin or really make a late lunge to try to get by at this stage.
Yeah, Devin Brock doing the best he can to try and make that NSX as wide as he can. Oh, Costello driving it deep into the brake zone there. It looks like Brock able to get back into the throttle a little quicker than Costello is able to get out there. Costello faking a move to the inside. He was nowhere near close enough to try and make a move. I think Brock knew that, didn't really even react at all to it. But pick our leader up here.
That's a Richard Swindell's move right there.
Our leader, Fernando Hawkes, crosses the line to take his second to last lap here as we see the rest of the field cycling through. There goes McKay and Simpson. I think Simpson's going to run out of time to chase down McKay, although he's still got a lap and a half to go. He's got that gap down to 7/10, so it'll be close. Catching a car is one thing, Rich. Finding another way around them at Imola is a completely other thing.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson spent a lot of the first 10, 15 minutes until he went into the pits trying to get by Luis Grion. Wasn't able to do it. So, like you said, this is a hard track to pass. Evan McKay having a fabulous race here. Nice way to close out the season where he was only able to make about half of the races. But if you're going to make the final one, make it a good one, and Evan McKay is certainly doing that, putting on a great show and having a great result with some really good pace.
Yeah, definitely the way to finish off the season for him. But our driver up front, positioning himself to take the pro side of the championship, Fernando Hawkes, came into this one needing to finish ahead of Kevin Simpson. He's at this point going to do it, barring any major mistake, and he's going to take the win and the championship on the pro side. So that's probably the way Tyler Graff envisioned it, maybe Matt Stadnick too as well, and Waldo Walden. But it looks like, all said and told, those guys are going to hold on to their championships. And Fernando Hawkes, 1 lap to go here, final lap coming up. This is all he needs to do, bring it back around ahead of Jim Felice and Kevin Simpson. Barney still, I think he's having an ice cream or something
jeez.
up there, this guy.
Gelato. We must be gelato.
This guy, poor man's flag man, him, Barney.
Well, we got to give that man a raise or get a replacement, something. He's been on strike for half the season. Fernando Jaquez continuing to lead Jim Felice. Kevin Simpson in 5th, looking to make advances, trying to close in on Evan McKay, but nothing happening there at this stage. It looks like Kevin is going to be wind up in 5th unless Evan makes a grand mistake. Evan McKay driving a superb race, looking clean throughout and looking to continue on and finish in 4th, 2nd in the AM division.
Yeah, it's one way to finish it, Rich, at Imola. I think it's a great track for the finale. We've been to a number of different tracks. We've been to some high-speed tracks. We were at Le Mans, where it doesn't really get much more high speed than that as far as all-out raw speed in a GT3 car. We've been to some tight, twisty tracks like Road Atlanta, Road America. Great tracks on the season here. I'm interested. I haven't taken a peek to see what is forecast for next season's schedule, but it's going to be hard to beat the tracks that we saw this season here.
Yeah, we had some fan favorites, as in you and me. We're fans of, like, we love Road America, we love Road Atlanta. We saw some tracks that we don't see all the time. Algarve, Mugello. We started off the season of Red Bull Ring as we watch Fernando Jaquez. Fernando closing out the season with a victory. Jim Felice coming in 2nd. Luis Grion 3rd. Evan McKay 4th. Kevin Simpson is going to round out the top 5.
Yeah, well done to Fernando Jaquez, Matt Stanek, bringing home the championships for their respective divisions. We got this last battle here heading to the line. Looks like Devin Brock going to hold off the Siberian Tiger of Tony Costello. Adam Ostrich going to find his way home behind them. Ivan Bassano looks like he's able to hold off Matt Stanek. Again, not the race Matt Stanek probably envisioned, but hey, he already had this one wrapped up coming into it. Oh, and it looks like Douglas Corey, something happened to him at the end there, coming in with no wing on the back of that thing, Rich.
Well, you don't need it to finish the race. You only need it to drive most of it. And it's rather makes it a little difficult to have some pace, but getting across the checker flag anyways.
Yeah, you just got to get it home. It doesn't matter how you get it home. You just got to get it home. There you go. That was the final car across timing and scoring. Fernando Jaquez is going to bring home the win, and barring any protests in this one. Although we did see a little argy-bargy between him and Jim Felice, so it'll be interesting to see if the stewards rule on that at all, Rich. But as we looked at it, I think it was just a little bit of netco glue, but we'll see how it plays out. So we're going to say the unofficial champion in the pro side, I think, Fernando Jaquez. Jim Felice bringing it home in 2nd place. Luis Grosjean, strong race. Top Am going to finish in 3rd spot. Evan McKay in 4th. Kevin Simpson in 5th. Nate Tavares in 6th. Blake Seedy in 7th. Emmett Lindquist in 8th. Josh Spears in 9th. And Artie Mercedes going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, then we had Devin Brock in 11th, followed by Tony Costello. Adam Ostrich was in 13th, followed by Ivan Bassano. 15th, rough race, but our amateur champion was Matt Stadnik, followed by Douglas Curry, minus the wing in 16th. And then we had Fernando Torres, not quite making it to the finish line here.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. We'll wait a few moments here.
Well,
Like we have any of the drivers
I-
into the booth yet, Rich?
I think I'm going to go with some unofficial results here on the season for the pro side anyways, Rob. Looks like, in my opinion, based on my great math skills, Fernando Jaquez has got this championship sewn up, and Kevin Simpson should retain 2nd and Jim Felice 3rd, with Dave Mendonça not here. So really no changes in the top 3 unless there's some serious protests or my math skills are way, way, way off.
I suspect we can test, or we can trust your math skills, Rich, but we'll see how it plays out there as the points are totaled up. It looks like we've got our second place driver and unofficial, according to Richard Swindell's P3 in the championship, Jim Flees into the booth. Jim, how'd your race go from your vision?
Another good start with pole. Little disappointed not to capitalize on it there, but had a pretty good battle with Fernando. So congratulations to him. I think that's both a race win and the championship win for him. So I was a little surprised, knowing where he was in the championship, that he was willing to be that aggressive. But I think overall it was a pretty good race, and some of those things, I think the iRacing has a tendency for cars to kind of stick together, and we're maybe a little bit worse than intended, but all good. Congrats to him. I think it was certainly an entertaining scene to or an entertaining race to an otherwise great season. So
Yeah, well done. We caught you exiting the pit and then darting. It looked like Hawkes thought he was going to get to the inside there. You moved over to defend it, and he shot to the other side. And when we looked at the replay again, we saw where it looked like, as you mentioned, it looked like the two cars kind of just got glued together with iRacing net code. So it's good to hear that that's kind of what it felt like. It didn't look like it was anything real malicious on either end by either one of you. But looks like P3 for the championship. How are you feeling about that one before you came into the season?
yeah, I mean, I think just knowing the strength of this field and how good some of the drivers are in this league, I was kind of shooting for like a top 5 week in, week out. I had a pretty rough start to the season, to be honest. I think I had some DNFs and just some really poor finishes early on. So to kind of bounce back, have some good strong results towards the end of the season was a nice way to kind of turn things around. And certainly had a lot of fun. So hope to be back next season as well.
Well done, Jim. Anybody you want to shout out here before we let you go for the season?
Just hello to the folks watching at home. Thanks for supporting me all season, and all my folks over at SRT, all the teammates that we practice with every week, and I think we all had a good season. So it was a good one.
Well, congrats, Jim, on the P3, and we hope to see you around next season towards the front again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
Take care. So that was Jim Feliz. Let's bring our inaugural AM champion, Matt Stanek, into the booth to have a catch up with Richard Swindell.
Hey, Matt, congratulations once again on your season championship. Race 10, Imola wasn't the highlight of the season for you, but you did what you needed to do.
Yeah, going into Aqua Minerale, it's sometimes you're just so packed in there, and you don't really know where your line is, and I just barely caught the grass, and as soon as I hit it, I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm going for a spin. So, but yeah, I mean, feels really good to win the championship. Would have liked to had a little bit better finish for the end of the season, but we'll take it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with victory in this season championship. 2 race wins, 8 top 5s, a lot of consistency all season long. Are we going to see you back next year, or no, next season?
Absolutely, yeah. I look forward to it.
Well, you've put on a great show all season long. We've enjoyed watching you race. I wouldn't be surprised if they may want to move you up to pros, but hey, that's what happens when you're the champ.
That happens.
Anybody you'd like to thank? Well, anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Oh, definitely you guys. Thanks for putting on such a great broadcast all season, and thank you to the team. And I don't know if we took the team championship. I think it was close. I'm not sure. We'll have to look.
We couldn't do the math on it in our heads. It was best we could do to figure out that you won the championship for AM, and you had a huge lead as it was. So I guess we'll find out a little later.
But yeah, definitely big shout out to the team and to Kevin, and David and Emmett. Those guys raced so well all season, and it really came down to the bitter end, didn't it? So it was always fun racing with those guys.
Well, yeah, and it was great entertainment for us in the booth. We appreciate the show that SRT Orange, Soul Bike Precision, and even the CRT Jabal guys did. So congratulations. We'll see you next season. Looking forward to it in about 4 weeks' time.
All right, take it easy, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was our AM champion, Matt Stadnick. And we're going to finish up with Rich catching up with Blake Ziti in the booth.
Hey, Blake, another good race tonight for you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Another good one for us there. I hope it was entertaining for you guys over there in the broadcast.
It certainly was. It certainly was. We had some good battles up and down the field. Nice team championship battle as well. We had the drivers' championships at stake. We're still not sure who's where in the teams because we're not that
Oh.
smart. But
Math's not
the
our forte, right?
well, we get paid for our looks here and not for our math skills, so we don't get paid much. SRTE Orange, fabulous season. Your team has worked well together all season long, along with the SRTE Green team. And are we going to see you back next season?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, this first season here, the launch of the league was, I thought, pretty good for the start. Little hiccups here and there, but everyone has a learning period, and I believe that if we all just keep focusing forward and growing this league, it could turn out to be something really great. So it was a lot of fun racing these guys. A lot of respect out there for the most part.
Well, by my amateur calculations, with Corey Sircone not here, I think that might move you up to third in the season championship. So congrats on that if that's true. And let's give one last shout out if you'd like, Blake, for the season.
Absolutely. Just like to congratulate my teammate, Matt. I believe he definitely locked in that championship as of now. So also to the team, SRTE. I'm thinking that might have done it for us. So congrats to us, I guess, if we did. And if not, all the other competitors out there, just really great racing out there this season, guys. And thanks to you guys as always. I really appreciate you guys and the hard work that you guys put out to put this on.
Appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in 4 weeks' time.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
That was Blake Ziti, as I think Richard just anointed him the P2, potentially in AM. We'll have to see how the points...
P3, I believe.
Or sorry, P3 in AM. We're going to quickly catch up with our pro champion and race winner, Fernando Jaquez. Fernando, congrats on barring any penalties. Looks like you should have taken the pro championship, and you did it in style, winning the last race of the season.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. It was really fun. When I saw the times from the guys in the practice, I was really worried about it. But it was a good race at the end.
Yeah, it looks like once you got around Jim there early on, you were able to get into a comfortable pace and just kind of cruise from there. Looks like the cars kind of got glued together a little bit with Netco coming out of the pits, but nothing really to do there.
God,
but
I thought everything was over.
Yeah, we thought when you came out and you crisscrossed over that everything was going up in smoke there. But we're gonna see you back again next season to defend your championship.
Yeah, of course. I really like this championship. I really appreciate you guys and all the effort that everybody does to keep this happening in a great way. I really love the way that the penalties are, so everybody raced pretty clean. So I hope to see you back the next one and defend my championship.
Perfect. Well, congrats again, Fernando. Anybody you want to shout out here before we let you go? Final time for the season.
Well, yeah, for sure. All the guys in the team. Thank you to every one of them that put the effort to and practice a lot to be able to be there. And hope every one of them can get a win too.
That's the team man there. Oh, we should ask you before you go. It looks like your teammate Luis was able to slot himself in behind you early on and hold off the charge from Kevin Simpson. Is that something you guys talked about beforehand? If he can kind of squeeze in there, hold off Kevin, and let you get out to a good jump, or did that just work out that way?
To be honest, I told all my teammates, you just have to qualify in front of Kevin. Please try to. So when I saw that Luis was there, I told him, well, you have the job that Sainz had in Monaco. You know what to do.
Yeah. He was your Sergio. So there you go.
Yeah.
Congrats again, Fernando. Best of luck next season to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a
Take
great
care.
night, guys.
That was our AM Championship and race winner in the sprint side of things, Fernando Hawkes. So that's going to do it, Rich, for the inaugural season of Throttle Freaks. I think overall, start to finish, it was pretty well balanced. A lot of tight races, a lot of battles all throughout from start to finish. I don't know if we could have asked for a whole lot more. Hopefully going forward next season, the grids grow even bigger. We can have even more bigger and better battles on track.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting out from a nothing to building up to the season finale. They put on a good show every week. The only thing we could ask for is maybe a little bigger fields, and I think with the start we've seen, that should be quite possible. A great job by the Throttle Freaks League admins putting this series on, and the drivers for their performance on track.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, we mentioned it early on before the the fixed race. Anybody who's been following along this season, wondering when they can get their chance to participate in this league, I believe league signups for anybody not currently in the league open up next week. So keep an eye on the Discord if you want to know what the Discord is. If you don't have it, by all means, drop a mention in the chat here for the broadcast, and we will get that link off to you as soon as we can. So again, thank you to everybody who's been following along. I am, as always, Rob Campbell. Richard Swindell is in the booth with me, and we'll catch you next season.
Good night.